Hiya. Ooh, you be crooked. Hold please. Oh, that's not a bad angle. It's refreshing, change of pace. Good evening. It is nighttime. And it's my PMT. If you watch my most recent video, I talked about daily hormone health. Yeah, daily hormone health habits that I do. This is one of them. It's a raspberry leaf tea concentrate that I make myself, and I drink a glass of every night to help with my overall female hormone health. This video, it is, forgive for the sounds of my dogs mauling each other in the background. It's their evening witching hour of play. If you have cowboy corgis, I have 3 of them. So if you have 1, times that shit by 3, add like extra, what the fuck? There you go. So today is Thursday. Saturday is my birthday. I'm turning 38. I'm actually really excited, and I feel like I'm going to make a lot of content around this because this is the first year that I can recall, and actually quite a few years, that I feel like empowered by, and I feel like I've really been put through the ringer the last year with just losing Adelaide, and if we went back even further, all the hormone shit, and then my back, and it's just been like kind of one thing after another in my 30s, right? So there's just something about 38 where I feel like I'm kind of coming out of this very long tunnel of like difficulty and despair and grief and regret. I'm not saying I have all the answers at all. I'm just saying there's a lot going on in my head. So my birthday is in 2 days. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna have a little party. Oh my God, my eyes. I'll explain it to you. I'm not high. I got my eyelashes filled today. And my eyes are always red when I get them filled. But this is like a birthday glow up-ish video. Today I was gonna film this morning, but I forgot. I got my lashes filled today. Just gonna take my makeup off, and then I'm gonna do a dermaplane on myself. I was gonna do a gua sha tonight, but I'm getting a lymphatic drainage massage tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. I've never had one before, so I'm kind of thinking they're gonna do one. So I'm just gonna skip it, and if they don't, I'll do it tomorrow night. I'm also getting my nails and my toes done tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. So that's like my pre-birthday glam, glow up, whatevs. And then Monday, I am going in for my final shot of this round of tirzepatide, and then I'm also gonna talk to her about getting trap tops, or like Barbie Botox, like in your traps. I've heard, for people that have gotten it, I've heard like the thing that's actually really appealing to me about it isn't so much like, I like the idea of the posture. That's definitely a perk. But the thing that's most appealing to me is they say when you're really dominant in that muscle, which I know I am, it's like being quad dominant when you're trying to work your butt. You have to modify something. You have to do something to engage the glute, whatever muscle, and all of them, whatever you want to try to do. But with the back, it's really hard, especially with posture and with, you know, the body keeps the score. And this is like a really common area that the body keeps the score. So I've heard that there's like probably, I mean, it varies on the body, but like I've heard like day 5, whatever, you're like crying because you're literally releasing the emotion that the muscle's finally releasing. And that just with what I've been through in the last, you know, long-term period of time, I think it probably would be really helpful. I'm not necessarily really wanting my traps atrophied forever, but it is something that I think for grief and despair and frustration and stress and anxiety and just all of the things that I have been feeling for however long. I mean, it's been a long time, right? There is a reason why I took breaks off YouTube, and just, you know, all of that, I think it would do me a lot of good. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to talk to her about that. There's also this like peptide thing that they're doing to help with like anti-aging, to help with supporting. What I'm really into is A, the anti-aging, but honestly B is the most important one for me, which is the maintaining muscle when you're losing weight. I'm down today almost 57 pounds. So I'm noticing I'm starting to get like a skin suit a little bit in parts of my body, like my arms and the top part of my back. I can see the muscle, but I can also see where I can fill out my skin better with muscle. And I have a really hard time right now with my dosage, and I'll talk about this in my tirzepatide video. I have a hard time with my dosage right now because I've lost so much that my appetite suppressant is so strong, it's like adjusted, and I'm just not eating as much. And I'm having a really basically impossible time hitting my protein macro. And the advice for me and where I'm at with my hormones is 1 gram for every pound you want to weigh. So if I want to weigh 120 pounds, just for easy math, you want 120 grams of protein. And for the record, I don't think I've gotten over 85 or 90, and I can't tell you how long. And I've definitely gotten like 60 sometimes, just because I've had like hardly any appetite that day. So great from the concept of fasting in terms of just ability to like fast for time, not great for what fasting is supposed to be doing. Also just for overall longevity, health, all the things, not great. So I like the idea of that on multiple things, but I want more information. So we're gonna go on, oh, I could be talking to you about this while I'm doing my servant planes. I didn't think that through. It's too late now, whatever. If I don't bring the phone with me while I talk to her, I want to surmise it in this video because it's something that I think, especially for where I'm at with the kind of content I want to produce, this hits a bunch of different buttons, right? Like we're getting a little bit older, we're starting to notice things, we're dealing with hormone situations, we're dealing with, to put it gently, I don't want to say like an imperfect life because everyone has an imperfect life, but like I'm really dealing with like there's this long-term element of consequences that you're just not, you don't think about in the moment that you make the decision. And it just, there's just so much, life is just so much more complicated than any of us were taught or equipped for. And when you're trying to be a good person and doing the right things and you just keep getting kicked in the gut, it's just really fucking hard. So I'm kind of going through a lot of that shit in my head right now. This specific video is like a launching pad for what is hopefully going to be like my best year. So I wanted just to kind of do like a starting point for here's where we are, here's where we're planning on going. But I get a mani-pedi and then I go straight from my mani-pedi to my lymphatic drainage massage, which I've just heard nothing but positive things. And I think that combination, plus getting my like, you know, lashes filled and everything today, because I was like sparse, or it was like ridiculous. I was so grown out and sparse. For the best way to document that. My goal is to start off my 38th year on the right foot, but also over what is essentially like 5 days, right? Thursday to Monday. I want to start walking the walk of what I want to maintain in my 38th year. And let's talk about that now. Let me start dermaplaning first though. Okay, so we're gonna take our makeup off and then I'm gonna get going because I'm just gonna wash my face after. I am gonna do a longer video about this. If you're interested in like long form answers and everything, stick around because I've been really going through it and I really feel like I'm learning a lot. I'm also like, just, you know, when you look for the red in the room, right? So what's directed you there and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very grateful that I've been able to like be of enough presence in grief that I've noticed the signs. They've been very apparent. So I'm so grateful for Adelaide for that because I know she's behind it all. If you don't know who she is, now is not the video for me to tell you because I've been really weepy this week because it's the first birthday I've had since I was like 22 without her. That fucking sucks. Anyway, so let's talk about going into my 38th year and what I want to do. I feel like this year has just been really focused on other love. That sounds controversial. If you study love, like Greek, there's like 7 different words for love, right? Different kinds of love. And that's really what I'm talking about. Other sorts of community and how you show up for people and all of that. So I'm looking into like, okay, how do I walk the walk of showing up for people that I care about and that I love? How am I the most supportive member of their community I can be? And how do I expand that community? How do I deepen those connections? How do I have more of those? Like, how do I just build more bridges and who do I want to build those with? And how do I want to go on with that, right? Also, what's important to me? What do I want to double, triple down on going forward? What do I want to eliminate going forward? All that kind of stuff. So what I've kind of come up with is I'm using this. I want to really just like go as all in as I humanly possibly can with my time and effort and resources with women, like girlfriends, like female friendships, the professionals that I see for insert whatever. You know what, let's do this. And let's set it further back. Louboutin, because I'm bougie. Hi, Willie. Let's do my brows first, because that's always like the trickiest. So I am like the queen of the cowlicks. I'm not at all shaving off cowlicks, because that's fucked up. but I am making sure that my brows are super blonde, but they're also like really coarse. So just eliminating all that peach fuzz is kind of critical. Something I really want to go like hard on is my self-care, and not necessarily in a DIY way. So like I'm all for DIY when it makes sense. I'm also all, like dermaplaning. I don't know why you would go to somebody for that. It's like so overpriced, especially if you have any idea of what you're doing. And I was a skincare educator for literally years for one of the top brands in the country. Something I really want to go hard on though is supporting like my fellow women in their professions in a form of self-care for me. My logic with that is multi-pronged. One is you're supporting like the sisterhood, right? Two is you're supporting somebody that you know and trust to do whatever it is they're doing for you. And three is you're supporting them economically, which when they're doing whatever they're doing, like you're guaranteed time with them, which I mean, if you're even a little bit busy, you know how hard it is. You know how many times you've been canceled on by your friends, or you've had to cancel because of something. So that's something I really like about this idea, where it's like, well, I know I'll see them because I'm like literally on their books. So that's something that's really appealing to me. And then also the idea of just taking better care of myself, because I think this year, like 2023, I've done a pretty good job of like, as a solo person, taking care of myself mentally. I don't think I've done a great job taking care of myself emotionally. And I think physically, it hasn't been a priority because I've been so focused on my hormones. Like, so like, I guess I can say I actually really crushed physically. It's like a more complicated road. So going to the right people, listening to the right people, supporting the right people, all of that's really important. And then with my like just friends, like, you know, like I don't need to pay my best friends to hang out with me. Like making a really concerted effort to see them once a month. The ones that live within like an hour of me, which two of my best friends do live within an hour of me. I'm gonna make like a come hell or high water, like even if it's coming to sit on your couch for like a night while you recover from something, I don't care. Or like come and cook, like something, right? Like really fucking show up for your friends. That's like that's a #1 priority for me. It's just to be like the best like sister I could be, right? And then I think the other thing is I've just really learned that if you don't do it for yourself, no one's gonna do it for you. And I've been looking for a therapist, and for what I want a therapist for is like really specific. If you're a step parent, especially if you're a stepmother, you know it is the fucking most difficult thing in the world. And if you're a stepmother to kids that their biological mother is like high conflict, and they're like school age, so like you actually have to co-parent, and like trying to co-parent and trying to like actually raise people, it like takes you within an inch of your life. Like I can't even tell you, it is the most frustrating, non-rewarding, like it makes you feel like you've lost your goddamn mind. Like, why do I put myself through this? So I'm trying to find somebody. Yeah, it's just really hard. Like, it's just really hard to find. And then there's a whole bunch of other shit, right? So it's like, but that's like that's the primary thing where it's like, how do you feel like you're just not failing these kids? But at the same time, everything you do feels like a violation of your self boundaries. Like you just like, you would never in another world do this to yourself. There's no way in hell I would ever put myself through this. This to me seems fucking insane. So that's like difficult, right? And you don't want somebody to just have like a knee-jerk reaction to it. You want somebody that kind of understands and to be real with you and not tell you some bullshit, like some Rainbow Bridge version of like, I fucking hate when I hear stepmom help say things like, well, the kids will remember. No, they won't, because if they're manipulated, they're not gonna remember shit. Anyway, so, and because I can't control so much of my life, I'm trying to focus on what I can control. And what I can control is how I take care of myself, and how I better myself, and how I educate myself, and the opportunities that I allow myself, and the person that I allow myself to be to the people that are open to it. That's a big sentence. The person I allow myself to be to the people that are open to it. Because if they're not open to it and they just put you in the cubby that they want to put you in, it's not worth it. And that has been something that's taken me way too long to learn. I am not somebody that changes their mind with the wind. I'm just somebody that thinks about a lot of stuff. So how do I show up for myself and advocate for myself and be my own best friend in all the ways I need to be, in a way that feels significant and substantial and authentic and not like, oh my God, I feel so smooth. Like kidified. I'm also gonna be 38, and I think, I mean, like, it doesn't take a fucking actual licensed therapist to identify the fact that I'm going through grieving the loss of my baby girl with processing what an absolute crock of shit being a step parent is, with going through perimenopause, childless, so like fully like you're never gonna have a kid, and with just a complete failure of emotional support across the board on that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why it's so hard. It just takes somebody who's willing to listen and actually not just say to me like, I'm sorry, or that's tough, or that sucks, or something that I can't do anything with, but actually be like, okay, here are some actionable things you can do to where you don't feel like you're failing yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's really all you have to care about, right? That sounds selfish, but it's not. Like, that's the one thing that I've learned from the psychological journey I've been on this year, is like, the flip side to this is, it is just me. This is going to be a really interesting year. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I do know I am definitely not the person I was a year ago. I am definitely permanently altered from grief. Because anytime you go through that kind of like, just shattered grief, you're never going to be the same person again. Like, I still can't even talk about it. I don't know. It's just like it's just a lot, right? This like cumulative total of shit. So anyway, I am going to continue doing this, and then I will talk to you tomorrow when we go get my nails done and my massage. So today is the day before my birthday, and I went and I did things today. And I was going to vlog it, but this morning happened. So let's talk a little bit about it. I spoke a little bit about grief and, you know, everything yesterday. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up sobbing. Just sobbing. For like a half an hour. About out. So that was how I started my morning. And then I got up, and I typically do like, I have like a morning routine that I do every morning. And one of the things I try to do is like my household, like tasks, things are quieter. Like I can't vacuum or anything by the door, stuff like that. So anyway, I cleaned like 7 windows. Fast forward to, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, and I'm making our AG1, and my back locks up. I mean, like fully locks up. And if you've never had that happen, good on you, because that will take your breath away and panic sets in because you're fully disabled. Like you cannot move. So I have had this experience before. If you don't know, that's why I took breaks off YouTube before. I have advanced degenerative disc disease, lumbar spinal stenosis, I have permanent mobility loss in my lower back. This was on my left side of my rib cage. So luckily not my spine. I still definitely feel it. I had a muscle spasm. So it locked up, and then I had a muscle spasm that got tight fast, and it hurt like hell. So I managed to get to the couch just in time to like everything lock in. And thankfully I only had to wait like 15, 20 minutes before Jeremy could get me, because he sleeps later than I do. And I was texting him. I saw the dog, so I knew it was up. So I tried texting him. No, I tried calling him 5 times. No. So we have Sonos throughout our house. So then I started playing Call Me by Blondie and then Help by the Beatles, like blasting it in the bathroom. And so he figured it out. And he comes out and he's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "No, like help. I'm crying. It's bad." So he luckily got me up and massaged my back to where I could walk. And then he got me into a hot shower and just like worked on my back. God bless him. He can pick me up. I'm so grateful. But it was that thing where like, you don't want to pick me up just willy nilly. So he got me to the shower and massaged my back to where I could move. And I had like a full docket today. So I was like, I don't have time. I can't just like lay in bed. So I had a nail appointment, got my nails done, which I was going to vlog, but just this morning, you know what I mean? Like that didn't happen, but I just did like a chrome red, and then I got my toes done. And then I went and I got a lymphatic drainage massage. And let me tell you, I got there early on account of my birthday. They gave me like free red light, which is super nice of them. And it's my first time there. So like no prior experience with them. And then I went in and I had a 75-minute lymphatic drainage massage. And then she actually there's like a couple of red lights they had, and one of them was like a back, like pad kind of thing. She took that and laid it down, and I laid on this thing. So I wound up having like an hour and 15 minutes of red light on my muscle. And it's helped. I mean, I still feel it, but it's fucking helped. So, and when I'm telling you, this is not a joke. This is terrifying. I don't wish back pain on anybody, especially not the ones I deal with, because I deal with a lot of shit physically. So that was fun. I had that, and then I had my massage, and it was so amazing. She was like, she's a nurse that's also a masseuse at this clinic that specializes in this. Really wonderful experience. Definitely going back. Already booked my next appointment. And she told me, she's like, honestly, once to maybe twice a month if you want, kind of depending on you. So I'm going to stick with once a month for the time being, just because she gave me stuff to do at home, and I want to find a way to like integrate it that doesn't feel like another burden kind of thing. So dry brushing. There's this like rolly thing I need to get from my tummy tuck scar. I have like a lot of firmness there in my like gut area, you know what I mean? Like your Venus mound and all that. Like I'm really firm to the touch. And she's like, that's scar tissue and lymphatic swelling. So basically, she like told me the whole thing. She gave me some tips, and she's like, you can make a lot of difference. And she's like, if you just do it at home, come in once a month, we'll get you like worked out. She's like, you'll see some real progress. And I love that. I'm like, that makes me really excited. So I am really happy I did that. I also feel like, I talked about this yesterday, but it's a woman-owned clinic. It's all women that work there. And that's important to me. Like, I'm really trying to support women, and I'm trying to double, triple down on my self-care and like really take care of myself this year, because I just feel like I really need it. Hello. Okay, so let's talk. Today's Monday. I had my final tirzepatide shot today, and then I talked to her about going forward. So if you are following me for tirzepatide, that kind of comprehensive video will go up on Monday the 14th. This was really informative because, you know, kind of in line with the birthday glow up prep, like going into just less that, more like taking my wellness journey more seriously, and like the daily like deposits into that account, so to speak. What do I do? Like, what am I doing? What's new? What do we got? What do we like? Talk to me, right? And that's kind of what I was saying to her. We made a couple of changes. Mainly we made one change with my shots, but the two things that we're gonna look into doing, one is trap tox, or like Barbie Botox, which is where they inject in your like trapezoids back here, this muscle right here. The thing is, it's 50 units. So it's like really expensive. And I get my master's done, and like that is a hell of a jump in price. So I don't love that, but it's something that I'd like to do. What I am going to do is like peptides. There's like tons and tons of peptides, right? And so the ones that I'm looking at, I haven't decided all of the ones I'm gonna do, but they do a bunch of stuff. They help with your human growth hormone, so it helps with like muscle fatigue, helps with like recovery, strength, muscle building, all kinds of stuff. It's anti-aging. There's all sorts of things there. So I definitely like to give that a go, and it would be like a daily injection. You do it at home. It's a daily injection. You do 5 days on, 2 days off. And then it's like, you know, business week, take the weekend off kind of thing. And then from there, you could do like 6 months, take a month off. And then there's like, you know, every month you start to see different things, and like some things happen. It's kind of like, this is a terrible analogy, but you know, when you're quitting smoking and they tell you like, oh, within the first 24 hours, you notice this. And then it's kind of like that, except much better for you. She's gonna send me some more information about the different options and let me do some more digging on what I want to start with or what I want to pair or whatever. And then maybe when I go back in for my 3rd round of tirzepatide next week, we can talk through exactly what we're gonna do for peptides for me. So that's something. And then we reduced my dosage on tirzepatide to help me with my protein consumption. I really want to keep documenting this kind of stuff though, because I find I'm reluctant to use anti-aging or reluctant to use wellness, but that's essentially what it is. I'm really into something about my hormone bullshit and like getting diagnosed with perimenopause and all this stuff. That really just launched me into this sort of mindset of, even if you have a life expectancy, or even if you know you won't die until you're 85, how do you want to spend those years, right? Like what kind of quality of life do you want to have? And I just feel very passionate about kind of taking the reins of my health and putting as much emphasis into my health and my wellness as humanly possible. One of the things I was noticing a lot just in thinking about this is, you know how they say like you're much more likely, like statistically, you're much more likely to be successful when you're surrounded by people that are supportive of that. My birthday was this weekend and we had like some of my nearest and dearest over, right? And like every single one of us were talking about things that we do for our health. So like Jeremy, for example, because we live in Central Texas and it's hot as, I mean, we live on the surface of the sun. So he's been drinking these liquid IVs for electrolytes for like, you know, replenishment and everything. When he's outside or when he's just depleted or whatever. And I was looking at them, he took them yesterday when we went swimming. And I was looking at them and every single one of those things has 11 grams of sugar. And I was like, oh, hell no. No wonder why you like these. And he also likes those like naked juices that are like 52 grams of sugar. It's ridiculous. And I was talking to our friends about it, whose house we were at, and they were like, oh no, we take Element. And so then I looked that up. And then I looked up, when I put in my grocery order, there was another brand that was also low, that was like no sugar. And so, but they sold individual. So I just bought like 2, I think of 3 or 4 flavors, and they'll come tomorrow in the grocery order. And I was like, it's so interesting when you have that kind of that community of people that are like, yeah, you want to live well. You know, it's not about deprivation. It's about leveling up and feeling better, being able to achieve more with your day. At some point in your life, you kind of realize, like, I don't give a shit what it is that you think is delicious. I don't care if it's donuts. I don't care if it's pizza. I don't care what your like big thing is. There is some point that you realize, and it may be a point when it's way too late. None of this is worth it, you know? Or how do I make this work for my lifestyle goals? So I really want to keep doing videos about like the day-to-day actions and like food and, you know, different things that I'm doing to enhance my quality of life, to make me a very healthy person. I do not want to be those girls that you see on like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and all them that take like 75 supplements a day. I think there's a reason why they're chronically like feeling terrible and unwell. You're paying that out. You're putting too much. There's other ways to do that. So I'm not saying like I'm going to become this like Erewhon devotee. I want to start experimenting with things to see what really suits me, what I notice a big difference of, what helps me achieve my like sort of ideal day-to-day life. I've been really dwelling on this idea of like something about my birthday. I don't know what it is, but there's just this like undercurrent that happens to me every year on my birthday. And it just makes me really, okay, where were you this? And like, you just get really analytical and you're trying to like have a bit of a baseline and okay, where can I go from there, right? And the thing I was thinking of is I've basically spent my 30s in some stage of physically, emotionally, mentally, I've been in some stage of like uphill battle. So I started my 30s getting divorced. Then I went to my back. Then it was like the multiple punch of dad having a stroke, getting him better, then COVID, then Adelaide, then, you know, you don't even realize what's happened to you, that you've got like this hormonal crap going on. And then you wake up and you're 38 years old. So I really want to take like the bull by the horns and rewrite what the next 8 years would look like, you know, and that's really how I'm looking at it. So if I can say I am, and this is actually something I'm like very conscious of. I weighed in on my 38th birthday. Not that weight is like the ultimate metric of health, like by no means. I was probably within a few pounds of what I weighed on my 30th birthday. So I am the exact weight I was when I met Jeremy. I'm the weight I've been for years. I'm finally back to it. So it's a nice, very convenient timing of, okay, well, if I got this like sort of data point at a baseline, right? And I'm doing these other things that can expose me to like an in-body scan and whatever else, where I can dial in, what am I doing deep down with hormones, with muscle, with body fat percentage, it's not about having some goal of like 20% or something like that. I don't have that kind of body, but I do want to kind of learn more about where do I actually feel my best? Because I know how I feel my worst. So where do I feel my best? And what would it take? And what sort of like Huberman, Rogan, all those like Goop, like there's always people out there that like have their little tricks, right? So what are mine? And that's what I really want this next year to be, is I want this to be a daily effort to be my best self. I want it to be 360. I want it to be comprehensive. I want it to be a holistic effort, right? Where your whole body, mind, body, soul, all that kind of stuff. I'm really pleased with the progress that I've made, and I'm really excited about where I'm gonna be in a year from now. And then I think my next birthday, I'll be 39. And then from there, it's the last year of your 30s, right? So I love the idea of getting this dialed in by 40. And then every woman I know says their 40s and 50s are their best. Like every woman I know is like, the next decade's even better. So 40s and 50s, I think, are the ones that I hear the most, like I was my best self. 50s really, I hear, is like, especially if you do your 40s right, like if you dial, so that's my thing, right? If you dial the shit in now and you just got a longer runway to play with, you're just crushing it. But I really want to get my muscle up. I want to get all this stuff dialed in so that as I'm aging for real, not just in like the sort of superficial levels of anti-aging, but in the actual like muscle is the currency of health, right? So I want to protect my bone density. I want to protect my skin elasticity. That's all muscle. So I'm really hoping that this I always say all hands on deck. I take a very all hands on deck approach. I don't think one thing is the solution to anything, because there's very likely never one thing that got you into that mess. So I'm really hoping that this becomes like a really positive journey. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm like, this is definitely like not a normal, like, you know, come with me to get my hair done glow up video, but I think it's even better because it's like deeper and more meaningful. And it definitely something that is a much more of a daily effort. And I was just noticing, I have a little note on my my month of August. I was laughing because I was like looking at it and I was like, buy planner supplies. You know, if you're into planners, like they come out at different times of the year. And I was looking at Hobonichi and they haven't come out yet. But one of the things I was thinking about was like, oh, I should have a planner for like just myself, for everything that I'm doing for this, like my like true self-care documentation. Because how cool would it be to be able to look back and say like, oh, I actually have tracked every single thing I did, what my mood, what my sleep quality, what my Oura ring said, what my exercise was, what else what supplements I was on. Like, what if I actually logged all of that? This is a science mind in me, but I would love to have that kind of data. I think that would be so fantastic, especially when you pair it with all my hormone stuff. That's so helpful for the evolution of self. So like when you get into like the bigger picture of life and what your goals are, what your external stimuli are, all this kind of stuff, you don't really have an internal tracker that go, here's what my sleep was like that day, or here's why I didn't achieve that, or why was that month so off? You can actually go back and be like, oh, I took the month off the peptides because you're supposed to, or I sustained an injury, or like whatever, right? Like whatever it is. So you'd actually have like critical, or like something completely outside of my control happened that completely derailed. Like I always think about like those things that you can't control, but that definitely can impact you and derail you justifiably, but still. And I just thought, well, like, God, wouldn't it be so nice to like take that so seriously enough that you documented it for a year? And the other thing is, wouldn't it be so great to do that where you're not just starting everything, right? So like the fact that I will very likely be, my goal is come the new year to be at my goal weight and probably like on some sort of a maintenance, just timeline wise, I think that makes the most sense. I can't say I don't want to be fully off because I feel like that's aggressive, but probably on some sort of an extended transition of the shots, transitioning off. And that way, as I try to reclaim my cycle and as I try to, all the other things, I just love that. I think that'd be such a great idea. I am very conscious of how long I've been talking, and this video is going to be crazy long and a real bitch to edit. But anyway, let me know if y'all are doing anything as well, like what you find as you get into like aging and wellness and how to protect your, all the good parts of your body, and how do we take better care of ourselves in a way that doesn't feel like just throwing money at the newest like Instagram brand. I really want to know like what I don't know. You know what I mean? I love, this is the thing I love about the semaglutide videos. Like I get comments constantly being like, oh, I just started or whatever, and this is a problem or whatever. And it's like, that was like almost a year ago for me. When I first started semaglutide, that was early November of last year. So I'd really love to see what another year looks like and how much more informed and knowledgeable and different I am, right? Like you're enriched by this. So I'd love that. So let me know your experience. Let me know what you're trying, what didn't work for you, what did work for you, all that kind of stuff. And also let me know if you have any specific videos that you want to see or ideas that maybe I've percolated in your mind. Drop it in the comments. I want to know, because I would love to make content around this kind of stuff that y'all want to see, and I want to make sure I'm making the right kind of content on it. So it's a dialogue. Just keep it coming. But yeah, so I'm just gonna wrap this up now because again, time. But I hope y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all really soon.